Do you remember those days when gas stations actually had full service? They'd actually wash your windows, pump your gas, check your tires, maybe your oil? Well, you want to know what that looks like in the investment world? Well, stay tuned because we're going to talk about that.
Retiring Well, brought to you by Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan. Retiring Well, helping you plan for a successful and comfortable retirement. Retiring Well, plan to retire well.
Hi, welcome to Retiring Well. I'm Larry Flynn and this is Mike Reese, the founder of our company, Centennial Wealth. Today we want to talk about what does a full service advisory firm look like, okay? Now Mike, you know, remember those days we had a full service gas station?
Oh yeah. Those were what they call the days.
Right. I mean, you'd pull up to the pump, right, and they'd wash your windows, right, and they'd check your oil, maybe check your tire pressure, put gas in your car. And I don't even think you had to get out of the car, right? You could
Yes.
pay them right there at the window.
Now, by the way, I think if I'm not mistaken, Oregon, the state of Oregon, at least until recently, every gas station was still that way by state law.
Wow.
And now I think I saw some YouTube videos where, and maybe you guys have seen this, some YouTube videos where people in Oregon suddenly have to pump their own gas and they don't even know how to find the gas tank.
All right. Well, today, what I want to talk about is, you know, what does a full-service advisory firm look like, right? And we're going to talk about 4 areas that I think a full-service advisory firm should have in practice, right? But in this segment, let's talk about 2. Okay. All right. The first one is what everybody's doing, which is investment management.
Right. It's like if everyone that calls himself a financial advisor, whether they're a financial advisor or not, everyone who calls himself that label is doing investment management of some sort, whether it's stocks, bonds, insurance planning, annuities, and normally what you have is a place where they do, one thing. Hey, we do mutual fund portfolios or stock portfolios, and they try to make that one thing kind of fit all, one solution to all problems. We know there's no magic bullet.
Well,
right?
You're right, Mike, because, if I'm an insurance agent and I'm selling insurance, I mean, what do I think is the answer to all your problems, right?
Yes, clearly insurance.
It's going to be insurance,
agent,
right? If I'm a wirehouse and I'm selling stocks, bonds, mutual funds, what do I think is the answer to all your problems?
Stocks, bonds, mutual funds. What's a wirehouse?
That would be those large brokerage companies, that'd be your Merrill Lynch's, your...
So there you go, folks. Today you've just learned a new jargon word in the financial industry, wirehouse.
Wirehouse, yeah.
That sounds pretty cool.
I don't even know why they call them wirehouses. How does it get
Whatever.
there?
But anyway, regardless, getting back to the point, and this is why Larry doesn't let me on the show anymore because I get so distracted. It sounds, these people who do investment management, whatever they focus on is the solution to all problems. And we know that's just not true. It's kind of silly to think about. There's a better way to do things.
Right. Well, and here's the other thing, Mike. Usually companies like that are selling a product for a company, right?
Yes.
So they're held captive to basically sell their company's products. Their focus is the product they're trying to sell. Their loyalty is the company they're selling for.
So if you have an advisor that works for ABC Wall Street firm, right, or ABC insurance company,
right?
They work for that firm, so their loyalty is not to the client or the customer. The loyalty is to the firm.
That's right.
And their goal is to make as much for the firm as possible first.
That's right.
And the client comes second. So in a full service firm, is that how things should be?
No. In a full service firm, the focus should be the client, what they want, and then putting the proper financial instruments in place that meet that end.
I mean, that's really a fiduciary, right?
Yeah.
That's really what a fiduciary does.
Yeah. So you got all those out there that they do investment management, but then I want to move into the second thing. They should do income planning. Okay. I mean, most people's fears are, do I have enough money in retirement, and will that money last? Right.
Right.
So we want to plan for that. What are their spending needs? How much income do they want in retirement? We're going to ask questions like, how much of that income can we count on that's going to be guaranteed? I mean, there's only 3 sources of guaranteed income, right? There's a pension, if you're fortunate enough to have one. There's Social Security, if you think it's even going to be there for you, right? And then maybe you got an annuity, a TIA CREF or something, paying out some guaranteed payment. But if I know what I need or want, and now I know what I can count on, where's that difference going to come from?
Where's the gap? You know, for a lot of folks, I don't know about all you folks at home, but I remember when my dad retired, he had a pension, he had Social Security, and he just had to make up some supplemental income with his retirement plan. That's not the case anymore. Most people retiring today, it's Social Security and a big 401k, and they got a big job to do with that 401k.
All right. So folks, you want to have investment management is obviously important. So is income planning. But in the next segment, we're going to talk about how important tax planning and estate planning is in the overall full service advisory firm, right? So stay tuned. Guys, Mike and I were just talking about the importance of investment management and income planning. But you know, we typically were working with people that are soon to be retired or retired. And when I'm talking about soon to be retired, who am I talking about?
Right, that's a great question. I think that's different for everybody. But you know, really, if we can get a chance to meet with somebody 5 to 10 years before that retirement date, there's a lot of opportunities we might be able to help them tackle, or maybe some pre-planning that can better that retirement years. So yeah, don't wait up until that last minute. So soon to be retired, maybe 5 to 10 years out.
Yeah, how many times do we have people come in and they're meeting with us for the first time and they say, well, now I understand you kind of work with just soon to be retired. I'm 5 years away from retirement, so am I really a good fit? Well, absolutely. That's the best time to get with us, right? I mean, we want to be forming that income plan way ahead of time. So when they pull the trigger, they're pulling it at the right time, right?
Yeah, because how many times, Larry, if somebody come in and they're like, hey, good news, I just retired yesterday, you know, and then, okay, well, okay, what kind of planning do you have? But yeah, if we get in earlier, it helps.
Not too late, but still be nice if we get them 5, 10 years later. Now, wouldn't you agree, John, when we're dealing with people like that, they all tend to have a very similar profile in how they're approaching investment management?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, they're used to this sort of growth and accumulation phase that they've been in, where they're just tucking money aside, but they're recognizing as they're getting close to that retirement that, okay, maybe it's more of a preservation of wealth and maybe generating income type of thing. And so a lot of times people sort of recognize that, but they haven't necessarily made that change with their investments, or haven't even thought yet about income and taxes and how that's going to play out.
Right. And wouldn't you agree, most of them, when you ask them what they want their investments to do, they'll say usually the same thing, right? Give me an adequate return, but keep me away from those big losses, those 30, 40, 50% losses.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're beyond those years of watching it down and with the hopes that, oh, it'll come back 5, 6 years from now. They don't have the time to wait for that return. So that's where they want to more so protect what they have and generate a reasonable income.
Right.
Typically.
And Art, when you agree that, you know, most people, when we're dealing with them the first time, they're one of their biggest concerns as they're approaching retirement or in retirement is they want to know that what they've saved is going to last.
Absolutely. Right? Isn't like, I mean, I think they did a statistic not that long ago. Retirees are more worried about running out of money than dying. And so, I mean, that's a major thing on their mind, Wayne, because that's going to produce a paycheck to do the things they want to do, whether that's see the grandkids and travel, whatever it is. That's their lifestyle and livelihood. So that's a huge concern. So knowing you have a plan that can accomplish that and what that looks like over time can be really valuable and really stress relieving for that retiree.
Yeah, can't stress enough. A plan answers a lot of questions. Now, I'm glad you're joining us today. Listen, we have the ability at Centennial Wealth to get behind any portfolio and show you how much risk you're taking, how that portfolio operated in 2008. We do income planning. We can answer that question for you, whether you've saved enough and whether it's going to last your lifetime. So thanks for joining us for that segment. In the next segment, Mike and I are going to talk about 2 other important aspects of a holistic plan, as we call our full service advisory firm. That's tax planning and estate planning. So stay tuned.
Are you retired or approaching retirement in the next 5 to 10 years? Join the Centennial Wealth Advisory Team for an exciting presentation with complimentary gourmet dinner and learn essential financial strategies for a comfortable retirement. Call 888-608-5825 to reserve your seats today. There is no cost and no obligation. Call 888-608-5825.
You made it. Years of hard work, investing, planning, and now you're here. The long-awaited reward you spent a lifetime looking forward to. But what now? After years of growing a nest egg, now you may want to manage it. Use it to fund your dreams. Make it last as long as you need it. And leave some for those you love. So what do? Wall Street continues to be uncertain, and some conservative options have dropped through the floor. How do you maintain opportunities for growth and reduce risk of loss from market changes? That's where we come in. We are financial professionals. From investments and insurance products to tax reduction strategies and guaranteed retirement income you cannot outlive, provided by the claims-paying ability of insurance companies. You've worked a lifetime to get here. Let us help you enjoy it to the fullest. For a complimentary consultation, simply contact us today.
All right, welcome back to Retiring Well. Now listen, in the first segment, we talked about investment management and income planning, how important they are in what we call a full-service advisory firm, right? This segment, I want to talk about estate planning and tax planning, why they're so important. But Mike, let's start with estate planning, right?
Start with estate planning. Okay.
Why is that so important in the overall picture?
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, Larry, as you know, it's all about making sure that when all is said and done, you're taking care of the people you leave behind, and that your assets are going where you want them to go, and not necessarily to the IRS, old Uncle Sam there. I can't tell you how many times, you have seen this, but I can't tell you how many times the little things get missed in estate planning. Right? I mean, you know of a client that we have here at the firm where, check this out, what happened was this gal got divorced, and the ex-husband never changed the beneficiary on his 401k. I know. Right? And so when he passed away, you know, his will said the 401k goes to his daughter, his trust said the 401k goes, everything said the 401k goes to the daughter.
Right.
But he didn't change the beneficiary agreement on the 401k, so where did it go?
Right.
Went back to the ex-wife because he never changed it. And that created all kinds of problems in the family.
Yeah.
How many times do you see someone who has old life insurance policies and maybe they are in a new marriage, but the first wife is still the beneficiary, and you know he's on the second or maybe third wife.
Right,
so it's amazing how estate planning is not just wills and trusts and things like that. It's also all those beneficiary arrangements, which are very, very powerful tools.
Yeah. Well, Mike, one that I can think of is, you know, we've got the investment management, but let's say they've got IRAs, you know. Let's say they have a trust for some reason. Well, a lot of times they want to put on an IRA, they want to put the beneficiary be the trust, right?
Yeah.
But not wise, because, you know, when you pass that IRA on to the heirs, well, guess what? They have the ability to potentially stretch that IRA out over their lifetime, meaning they don't have to pay tax on it right away. But if I make the trust the beneficiary, I lose that ability.
Yes.
So this is why we feel like estate planning, income planning, tax planning, and investment management all have to work together.
They all work together. Folks, remember this. The IRS does not want your trust to be a beneficiary of your IRA, and they will do everything they can to make it, you know, really bad. So just heads up on that one.
Right. So in estate planning, all in all, we're basically, all your assets need to know where they're going to go once you die. So that's a good estate plan. But I want to talk about tax planning now, because this is vital. You know, we have a huge opportunity with this Tax Reform Act over the next probably 7 years, okay, because the tax brackets are lower to do a lot of what's called Roth IRA conversions. Right?
Yeah. So, folks, by the way, the new Trump tax code, you know, whether you like the guy or not, we have a new tax code. And for those of you who are especially married, there's this huge window of opportunity to do some tax planning, to move assets from taxable accounts like IRAs and 401ks into tax-free accounts like Roth IRAs. Larry, you've done taxes for a long time. You understand the tax code inside and out. We're not going to try to explain that, of course, on TV. But this is an area where so many families have opportunity and nobody's talking to them.
Yeah. When Roth IRAs first came out, they went to their advisor, they went to their accountant, they said, should I or should I not do this? This has to be looked at every year because there's opportunities every year potentially to move some of that money from IRAs into the Roths. Now here's the other thing, getting back to that income planning. A lot of times we'll get asked by clients, hey, if I'm going to take income, what account do I take it from, right?
Right, that's a big question a lot of times.
Right, huge. So, I think of this story of a client who 10, 15 years ago, they asked their advisor, what account should I pull this from? They said, well, pull from the Roth IRA account because it's not taxable. Well, they were in the lower tax bracket, meaning during that 10, 15 years, they could have been pulling out of their IRA money in the low bracket.
Yeah, basically paying almost nothing of tax on that IRA money.
Right.
So instead, this is a big issue, folks. And this is one of the biggest reasons, if you're retired, you're taking income from various sources, you'll want to come in and get that second opinion because tax management can save you so much money if you're just dealing with someone who knows what they're doing. Very few advisors do.
Yeah, so I encourage you to give us a call. Investment management is very important, but how does that tie with your estate plan, your tax plan, and your income plan? So give us a call. Yeah, guys, listen, that segment Mike and I did on tax planning, estate planning, so vitally important. I am still surprised to this day how many people don't understand with the Tax Reform Act, they have a huge opportunity with Roth conversions. Wouldn't you agree, Art?
Absolutely. It's amazing how so many people have worked with other financial advisors over their life and have never even heard of a Roth IRA, let alone a Roth conversion, Roth contributions and all that, and how valuable they can be to somebody's success in retirement. In theory, the concept is very simple, but it never has been explained to folks. And then talking about what is your IRA exit strategy. The government has a built-in one for you called required minimum distributions. And we always have to ask the question, is that the best plan for you, or should you seek help to create your own plan?
Yeah, what if it's a person that has Roth IRAs, and non-retirement money, and you're doing an income plan, you've got their investment management together, and you don't bring taxes into that? I don't know how you don't. So they all have to work together, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
Right. When we're dealing with estate planning, I'm still surprised, John, how many people haven't even heard of what a ladybird deed is.
Oh, I know, Larry, and that's where we're not estate planning attorneys, but with a ladybird deed, ultimately, it's a way where you can designate on your property who that house is going to be left to when you pass, and ultimately the goal is to avoid probate court, because that's what the attorneys say. You want to do whatever you need to do to avoid that, because it could be a lengthy and costly process.
Right. We've heard the estate planning attorneys say this. A good estate plan is one that avoids probate, right? Mm-hmm. Well, everybody sets beneficiary designations on all their assets, but the house is the one that's sitting there wide open, right? That still has to go through probate. Through the use of a ladybird deed, they can avoid that as well. Yeah. So anyway, all these aspects of somebody's planning is all very vitally important. And that's one thing we do at Centennial Wealth is we deal with all those aspects, and we bring the estate planning attorneys in when we need to bring them in for that. So I encourage you, just stay tuned. We got more to come.
Today's retirement challenges can be mastered. Knowledge is power because you can confidently plan ahead and make educated financial decisions for a successful and comfortable retirement. We are Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning, serving all of northern Michigan with offices in Traverse City, Cadillac, Petoskey, and Gaylord. And we invite you to an informative and exciting live event with a complimentary gourmet dinner. You'll learn highlights of the new Tax Reform Act, how an IRA gets taxed to a surviving spouse, how two similar portfolios can end up with two drastically different results, what a bull market is and how long it can last, and much more. Call 888-608-5825 to register Tuesday, November 5th at the Blue Pelican Inn and Restaurant in Central Lake. The live event starts at 6 p.m. and is free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow, but seating is limited and fills quickly. Call 888-608-5825 to reserve your seats today. There is no cost and no obligation. Don't miss this important live event. Educated Financial Decisions. Call 888-608-5825 today.
You don't walk into a doctor's office for some blanket prescription for whatever ails you. You expect individualized attention, a doctor who listens, and a treatment prescribed to meet your specific need. When it comes to your financial future, why expect anything less? If you would like an independent checkup from an independent advisor with access to hundreds of possible solutions to help you meet your goals, contact us today.
Hi, welcome back. Listen, Mike and I have been talking about a lot of things. You know, we've talked about estate planning and the importance of that, income planning, tax planning, long-term care, health care planning. Listen, there's a lot that goes into a retirement plan, a lot of different facets. I kind of drew this up because I kind of want to look at what I consider a 5-star plan. But you've got investment management, right? What's the strategy? You know, how are we appropriately placing your investments to be ready for any kind of economy that we have, right? So that's very important. And most advisors all do that, right? So that's important. But then income planning, all right? We talked about that. Why is that important? Because income planning is the means by which I'm gonna have a plan to see if my assets will outlive me, right? What's our biggest concern? You know, that I've saved enough and that it will last my lifetime, and hopefully, if I'm married, my spouse's lifetime, right? And maybe even have a little bit left to go on to our heirs. But we want to have an income plan, and we want that income plan to be adjusted for inflation as well. Tax planning. Listen, if I'm going to take income, you know, how's that income going to get taxed? If I have IRAs, I have a partner in that IRA, don't I? Because every time I take money out of that account, who's there to take their share? Uncle Sam, right? So I want to have a tax plan to make sure that Uncle Sam doesn't get any more than they're supposed to get, right? And if I'm going to take income, what accounts am I going to take that income from? Can you see where all these have to work together? Estate planning, very important, right? I want all my assets to know where to go when I die. Hopefully we can avoid them going to probate and then you know, having the will decide it, right? I mean, we talked about this. A good estate plan is one in which the will never sees the light of day, because that means nothing went to probate. So we want to make sure that on our investments in estate planning that we have proper beneficiary designations. So what we say we want them to go to, they go to, right? Long-term care, health care planning, very important. You know, long-term care is a real reality, especially if you get north of 65 years old. The odds of you or a spouse going into long-term care are very, very great. So we want to plan for that. We also want to plan for health care. All right, if I'm retiring early, maybe not yet to 65, because remember, if we get to age 65, we get Medicare, right? But how am I going to bridge the gap in between? Well, I want a plan. I want a health care plan that has to go along with that. So can you see where all of these are important? But what's really, and they all have to work together. But they all have to work together for whom? They have to work together for the client. Very important. As a fiduciary advisor, the focus is always going to be the client and what they want, what their needs are, and then bringing in all these different areas of planning to the client so they can make the best informed decision. Very, very important. Listen, if you're somebody that has questions about any of these matters, right? If you have questions about any of that, give us a call. We'd love to meet with you. We'd love to sit down, see what your wants and needs are, and see if there's any of these things we need to be talking about or planning for you. This is what we do at Centennial Wealth. We do care about the investment management, but we care about all these other things, that they all are working together. So I encourage you, give us a call.
Are you retired or approaching retirement in the next 5 to 10 years? Join the Centennial Wealth Advisory team for an exciting presentation with complimentary gourmet dinner and learn essential financial strategies for a comfortable retirement. Call 888-608-5825 to reserve your seats today. There is no cost and no obligation. Call 888-608-5825.
What can Retirement Analyzer do for you? Retirement Analyzer is a software tool that can help you prepare today for your financial future. You've worked hard to save for your retirement, but as you near your retirement, you may have concerns. Have I positioned my retirement savings wisely? Have I saved enough for retirement, and will my savings last throughout my lifetime? What impact could inflation have on my future expenses? What if I suffer a long-term illness? Will I have enough money to cover my medical care expenses and still be able to meet my other financial obligations? Could changes in the income tax rates disrupt my retirement strategy? There's no need to be in the dark as you prepare for your retirement. Retirement Analyzer can help you find answers to all these questions and more. The first step is providing us with information on your financial assets, the type and current value of those assets, as well as your sources of income. Then, we work with you to identify your expected expenses in retirement. This will include a discussion of the lifestyle you envision in retirement, travel, a summer residence, whatever you dream your retirement will be. We'll input the information you provide us into the Retirement Analyzer, and in a very short time we'll have reports that show us the percentage of assets currently in high-risk vehicles as well as the percent in lower-risk products. Retirement Analyzer enables us to project your income from year to year in your retirement and see how long your retirement savings may last. As we change the conditions of the report, delaying your retirement date, including costs for long-term care, adjusting the expected tax rate, or adjusting your retirement strategies, we can see how changes in these variables may impact your income in retirement and the longevity of your retirement savings. Let the Retirement Analyzer help you test drive your retirement strategy today, because the time to discover the bumps in the road is not once your trip through retirement has begun. Contact our office today to schedule an appointment for your Retirement Analyzer review.
Boy, Larry, what a fantastic chalk talk that was. That was quite a little creative 5-star drawing you did there. That was quite impressive.
All on my own, guys.
In all seriousness, though, guys, what I really appreciate about that, Larry, is bringing it back to the client as the focus of that. All those different areas, I mean, when it comes to a fiduciary responsibility, that's what it comes down to, is focused on that client and making sure that, you know, all those different areas are, again, coming back to them.
Yeah, guys, I don't care how many rules and regulations there are out there. Honestly, if you just put the client first and think in their best interest what they want, need, and desire, and put the proper financial instruments in place that meet those wants, you're going to, you know, make a lot of people very happy, right?
Right,
So,
right.
Anyway, thanks for joining us today. I hope you found this very valuable. See you next time.